Hi guys, I am going to walk you guys through the digital pocket guide that I created on HIPAA security rules, specifically for Grace Salone Memorial Hospital workforce. That would mean that employees, residents, students, volunteers, literally anyone who touches a patient's record, has a bag, work in this hospital is part of how we would protect the patient's information, and that's really the whole point of this guide. So let's get into it. Um, what is EPHI? So before we get into the rules itself, it's worth grounding on one term topic, EPHI, which is the patient health information. This is any like patient information that GSMH creates, stores, sends electronically, like any chart notes, lab results, images, any billing records, even any like text messages that would mention the patient's name. The security rule exists to protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of that information. So the rule that organizes everything into 3 categories of safeguards that I built into this infograph that we have around this framework, which is first is administrative. That would be the people. So this would cover like completing annual security training, accessing charts tied to patients you're actually caring for, knowing who your unit security contact is. Second would be physical, which would be the spaces and devices like badging yourself in instead of holding the door for someone. Uh, which if you're like you have to make sure everyone like scans their little badge. Um, Trying to like when you're typing in things, angle yourself from like public view or locking your like workstation, eh, like computer every time you step away, even if it's just for a minute, like you're going to the restroom, close that computer up. The third is technical, which is the systems, meaning that your own logins or credentials should never be shared. Turn on your multi-factor authentication systems like Okta that we use, and ensure that you're improving secure messages for anything that has to do with the patients. Try not to like ever do any personal texts or emails. Use our system's information, like system email, system chats, you know. The do's and don'ts. So to make this more practical, I included a do this and not that type of checklist. And on the do side, lock your screens, use your multi-factor authentication or MFAs, report any lost devices within an hour. Like if you lose your company's computer, please do not leave it until next Wednesday. And you're just gonna like, oh, I totally forgot. No, just try to report it. We're not gonna be angry. So ask if anything, if you're unsure for anything. On the don't sides, never share your login password or information to anyone. Um, Never text or email any personal PHIs from a personal account. Don't photograph screens, charts on your phones, and don't share PHIs on personal devices. Kind of consistent with everything. The idea is that if you hesitate to explain an action to the privacy officer, that's your signal not to do it. So, like, if you're like, "Oh, I didn't explain," back to the laptop thing. "Oh, I didn't tell anyone about my laptop being lost or stolen because yada yada happened." Like, no, just tell us. Promise you. We'll try not to get too mad, depending on the situation. Um, so if you flip to the back, I also put two policies that put this rule into action day by day. I think, yeah. Um, so SEC 101 covers passwords, authentications, system workstation accesses, which are like unique logins for everyone, strong passwords, um, MFA for remote accesses, and workstations that auto lock after 3 minutes of inactivity. So I have to actually be able to see this. So mobile devices, remote access, and media disposal, which is the second policy. Oh, yeah, it is on the, I am on the right one. Okay. Which is like ePHIs only lives on encrypted hospital approved devices, which is going to be like remote access always requires a VSN plus FIA, and lost or stolen devices have to be reported within the hour. So these are like the two policies that must be followed. So the first one is obviously the password authentication stuff. Second one is the mobile devices, which I feel like I should have titled it. Finally, if anything goes wrong and you have a lost device or a exposed screen, or like you basically something happens, the process is to stop and secure the situation. So like report it within the hour to your supervisor or someone higher, and then the privacy officer security office would try to investigate it. So try not to investigate yourself and cooperate with them with any follow-up. Reporting it is in good faith and would protect you. There's seriously no, we're not going to do anything if you retaliate. I mean, if you report it. Yeah, that is my lovely infograph on this lovely presentation. So try to follow it, hopefully, and thank you for listening.